Hello, everybody. This is Grace Bubeck, and it's the second conversation today of the Healing and Awakening Retreat with Della. Della's joining us from Brussels. She's originally from Canada, from Quebec City in Canada. And she's currently conducting a retreat in Brussels in French. And I believe this is your first public appearance in English. So welcome, Della.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for joining us. I'm very happy to bring you to an Anglophone English audience because, you know, I know that in the Francophone world, you've, you're quite well known, but somehow the news hasn't spread yet into the English world. So this is your window into it, and I'm just happy to give you that opportunity.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So there's always this little moment where I just check in with how to start. Is there any way that you would like to start?
Well, I often say welcome, welcome to everybody, and welcome to life. You know, welcome to whatever is there, and so welcome to this new experience.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, it is a new experience for all of us, for a lot of us. And it's interesting that, there have been a few technical hitches. Somehow Mercury retrograde kind of interferes with some of the technology. But it's interesting because what is appreciated about the retreat is that it makes things very accessible to people. And, you know, they can participate too. A lot of online things are recordings. They're not live. And this is live, so they can actually, you know, they can comment, they can ask you questions. And that's a wonderful opportunity. I mean, that's really, you know, we can welcome that. We can celebrate that, that this is possible.
Of course, it's possible because of you. I'm quite not familiar with that, but it works. So thank you, Grace.
Yeah. Well, it was my it was my heart's calling to do this, and I'm just awed that it's all happening. It all somehow materialized.
That's true. Beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. So, Della, I wonder, here's a question I would like to ask you. Because maybe not everybody has read your biography. You used to be an emergency room physician.
Yeah.
So you were in the healing world, but as a medical doctor. And, you know, that was your experience, that was your focus. Yeah. And then you had a spontaneous awakening experience that was very powerful, and that eventually somehow threw you out of that medical world.
Yes.
So I was wondering whether you could tell us just a little bit about, you know, maybe how you understood healing before your awakening, and how you understand it now.
Well, healing prior to what happened to me was more on a physical side of life. So I had knowledge. I knew, stuff to do when people came in the emergency, and it was it was quite a, a direct way uh, to work. You learn something and then you apply it with what you see, and also with your instinct, because of course it's not only a knowledge, it's kind of a feeling of things, what to do. But it was on a physical side of life. And then after what happened to me, gradually, well, it was a sudden contact with unconditional love in 2005, but it took a few years. It took 2.5 years after that to really let go of identity as a medical doctor. So in the meantime, I could practice medicine. The knowledge was still available, but there was this way of seeing patients that were in a very open, unlimited, and loving way. So it became gradually more and more difficult for me to put them in a box of a diagnostic. It was more and more a challenge every time. It became such an evidence at one point that the patient coming in was perfect, that it was really a challenge for me to continue working as a medical doctor. And at the same way, there was this feeling of not having the ability anymore to have access to this limited knowledge. So anyway, life decided that I stopped practicing as a medical doctor, and that was obvious for me at that point to stop. I'm still really open to the medical approach. I'm not against medical treatment or stuff like that. It's just that for me, it's not my way of seeing things anymore. For now, it's just an opening, always a deeper opening to reality as it is, and just seeing the truth and seeing reality, and going back to inner truth, and just let life unfold as it is. So it has changed dramatically my way of being with healing.
And how do you understand healing now? Is that different?
Well, healing is just taking care of what needs attendance. That's all it is. And we do that naturally as a human being. We're taking care of what has to be cared of. So healing, there's so many options of healing, and everybody goes where it feels right. We already do that. But maybe what is a bit different now is that the healing the impulse of healing doesn't come from the place of fear, of fear of death, or fear of suffering. It comes more from a place of just being open and present to what has to be attended to. It's just a simpler way of just taking care of what has to be cared of.
So I imagine, by the same token, there's no need to fix something that seems broken or not right, or, not fully functional, whether physical or emotional. Because often when people look for healing, there's like this need for things to be different, right? For things to be fixed in some way.
Yeah. The mind has a lot of opinions about uh, how things should be.
Mm-hmm.
But from a more intimate place, it's a natural movement for humans to fix things. You know, if you have a broken leg, you won't say, well, that's a delusion of the body that it does not
Mm-hmm.
fix. And you know, the mind plays a lot with that. But the natural movement is that you're going to attend to that,
Yes.
you know, naturally.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the invitation for me is to trust the inner movement to fix whatever feels uncomfortable, but
Mm-hmm.
at the same time not denying reality as it is, which is
Mm-hmm.
that there is something that is painful in the moment or
Mm-hmm.
has, you know, who needs attendance.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a natural movement. The healing is natural. We do it all
Yes.
the time. It's just that we create sometimes a lot of stories with the mind, fighting against the simple reality of what is.
Yeah.
So it's easier, it's softer just to be with reality and face what has to be faced and taken care of, you know.
Mm. Mm.
I don't like losing energy with fighting.
Yes.
It takes a lot of energy, and then anyway, you're gonna do what's right. So
Yeah.
yeah, I like vacations.
Della, for those of you who don't know you, I think you have to just talk to them about what taking a vacation is.
Oh yes, I'm for the all-inclusive vacation. You know, all the time. All-inclusive vacation means just being with what is, because what is includes everything that manifests and appears in the moment. So, you know, vacation is just coming back home where the space which is prior um, to this fighting against life, you know,
Mm-hmm.
just being with what is, including, you know, the refusal, including the mind that it works too hard to fix things, including everything. There's a place prior which is more intimate to everyone where we can really take a vacation
Mm-hmm.
and realize that we can be on vacation all the time
Mm-hmm.
just by being with what happens, what appears, and just breathe with that. And life is just, life can be really, really simple because life is simple before we make it complicated and before we create suffering. There's a place where it's so simple, just to be.
Yes. Yes. It's simple when we don't create a story about it and we just let it be as it is, right?